Here are the most recent deaths in the national news as reported at Legacy.com in the first week of November 2025. Visit Legacy.com to read full obituaries for most of the people featured in this video and leave your own condolences on their Legacy page. Football player and broadcaster Bob Trumpy died November 2, 2025 at his home near Cincinnati. He was 80. He was a four-time Pro Bowl tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals, celebrated for his pass catching and for his remarkable speed. Trumpy is also being remembered for his Hall of Fame broadcasting career. He was a color analyst for many years, calling 2 Super Bowls as well as other sporting events like the Olympics and the Ryder Cup. Actor Lee Weaver died September 22, 2025 at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 95. His death was recently announced publicly. He was a character actor with decades of TV appearances, including The Cosby Show, Hill Street Blues, and Easy Street, and he voiced the character Alpine in the G.I. Joe animated series. He is also being remembered for acting in dozens of films, including a memorable turn as the blind seer in O Brother, Where Art Thou? Weaver was a U.S. Army veteran who served for 4 years in the 1950s. French actor Tchéky died October 31, 2025 in Brittany, France. He died of cancer at the age of 72. A movie star in his home country, he was familiar to English-speaking audiences for appearances in Goldeneye, Bad Boys, and The Patriot, among many other films. Karyo is also being remembered for playing Detective Julien Baptiste in the British series The Missing and its spin-off Baptiste. Actress Diane died November 3, 2025 at her home in Ojai, California at the age of 89. She was nominated for an Academy Award for her performance as sharp-tongued waitress Flo in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. She later appeared for a season on the sitcom the film inspired, Alice, as a different character, Belle Dupree. Ladd is also being remembered for 2 more Oscar-nominated performances alongside her daughter, actress Laura Dern, in Wild at Heart and Rambling Rose. Former Vice President Dick Cheney died November 3, 2025 of complications from pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease at the age of 84. He was the 46th Vice President of the United States, serving 2 terms alongside President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009. Cheney is being remembered as a powerful and influential vice president who played a key role in the War on Terror and helped drive the creation of the USA Patriot Act. Singer Donna Godchaux died November 2, 2025 at a hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. She died after fighting cancer at the age of 78. She toured and recorded with the Grateful Dead in the 1970s, singing harmonies and occasional lead vocals on their songs. Godchaux is also being remembered for her backing vocals on classic songs like Elvis Presley's Suspicious Minds and Percy Sledge's When a Man Loves a Woman. Businessman Duane Roberts died November 1, 2025 at the age of 88. He is credited with inventing the frozen burrito in the 1950s, initially selling his creations to fast food restaurants where they were deep-fried. Roberts is also being remembered for restoring the historic Mission Inn in Riverside, California. Singer and songwriter John Wesley Ryles died November 2, 2025 at the age of 74. He was just 17 years old when he scored a country music hit with Kay in 1968. His other popular singles included Fool and Once in a Lifetime Thing. Ryles is also being remembered for singing backing vocals for many top country artists, including Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, and Randy Travis. Nurse and fitness instructor Mary Ann Wilson died November 5, 2025, at the age of 87. She created Sit and Be Fit, a PBS exercise show that helps seniors maintain fitness and improve their health. She hosted the show for decades, as well as writing exercise manuals and creating workout DVDs. Wilson is being remembered as a cheerful pioneer of fitness for those who have limited mobility. Football player Marshawn Kneeland died November 6, 2025, at the age of 24. He was a defensive end in his second season with the Dallas Cowboys. A second-round draft pick last year, he had played college football at Western Michigan University. Kneeland is being remembered as a player on the rise who scored his first NFL touchdown on a blocked punt just 3 days before his death. A note to remember, sometimes personal information, such as someone's cause of death, is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially confirmed, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Olympian Charles Coste died October 30, 2025, at the age of 101. He was the world's oldest living Olympic champion. He won gold for France at the 1948 Summer Olympics in London in the team pursuit cycling event. Coste is also being remembered as a torchbearer at the 2024 Summer Olympics when he was 100 years old. He lit the torches of the final pair of torchbearers who lit the Olympic cauldron in Paris. Actress Pauline died in November 2025 in London. She died after living with Parkinson's disease at the age of 85. She was nominated for an Academy Award for her starring performance in the 1989 film Shirley, Valentine. She had also starred in London and on Broadway in the one-woman play that inspired the movie, winning an Olivier Award and a Tony. Collins is also being remembered for her TV roles in such British shows as Upstairs, Downstairs and Doctor Who. November 11th is Veterans Day. Here at Legacy, we've partnered with the Military Times to let any family in America publish a free obituary for any veteran. Some of the stories we're seeing are just incredible. Like this Air Force F-4 fighter pilot in Vietnam who went on to be an airliner captain flying 737s for United and then an administrator for the FAA. This U.S. Army combat engineer who was deployed to humanitarian missions around the globe but always said his proudest accomplishment was his 2 daughters. And this U.S. Navy veteran from Minnesota who went on to become a skilled craftsman and cabinet maker and a beloved grandfather. Find their amazing life stories at Legacy's Veterans Obituary Memorial. Just visit Legacy.com to find these obituaries and many more. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 1 year ago this week, musician and producer Quincy Jones died at the age of 91. His wide-ranging career included performing as a jazz trumpeter, producing some of history's best-selling albums for Michael Jackson, and producing the massive charity single We Are the World. 1 year ago this week, actor Tony Todd died at the age of 69. He was a horror movie great, starring as the title character of the Candyman series, and with a memorable recurring role in the Final Destination franchise. 15 years ago this week, actress Jill Clayburgh died at the age of 66. She was Oscar nominated for her performances in An Unmarried Woman and Starting Over. 40 years ago this week, actor Phil Silvers died at the age of 74. He was one of the biggest TV stars of the 1950s when he played Sergeant Bilko on his self-titled sitcom, and he won Tony Awards for Top Banana and A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. Actress Doris Roberts was born 100 years ago this week. She died in April 2016 at the age of 90. She starred on TV in Everybody Loves Raymond and Remington Steele, and her many movies included The Honeymoon Killers and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags across the United States have been lowered to honor the memory of Vice President Dick Cheney. Flags in Kentucky have been lowered to honor the lives of the Kentuckians lost because of the catastrophic plane crash near the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport Tuesday afternoon. Flags in Kentucky have also been lowered to honor the memory of former Governor Martha Lane Collins. Flags in New York have been lowered to honor the memory of retired State Police Zone Sergeant Stephen W. Green, who died from an illness stemming from his assignment in and around the World Trade Center site following the 9/11 terrorist attack. Flags in Wyoming have been lowered to honor the memory of former Secretary of State Kathy Carpin. Flags in New Mexico have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Senator Clint Hardin. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.